As we showed you live on WJLA 24/7 News at 10 o'clock this morning, SpaceX launched a Falcon 9 rocket from Cape Canaveral, Florida. That rocket is carrying dozens of satellites, including some from a Herndon, Virginia-based company, HawkEye 360. Now joining us to talk about today's launch and HawkEye 360's first of its kind satellites is HawkEye 360 CEO John Serafini. Good afternoon.
Hi, Kelly. It's so nice to be with you. Thank you for having me on.
Indeed. Now, we watched that launch from Cape Canaveral today. What were you thinking as you saw the liftoff?
Well, your heart is always in your stomach on a launch, no matter how many times you've done it. And it's very exciting to watch. The satellites are now en route to orbit, and we're especially thankful for SpaceX for getting us up there.
Tell our viewers what is going on with this mission. What are you hoping to accomplish?
Thank you. We have very unique satellites. They fly in clusters of 3. So we have 3 satellites on this launch. Ultimately, one will fly in front, one will be in back, and a third will oscillate back and forth. And that unique geolocation capability allows us to analyze how signals are being used, and then to derive actionable intelligence procs from that information.
Can you give us some example of what the satellites have the capacity to do? We know that they allow the government and other organizations to spot illegal fishing activity, etc. Give us some examples.
Well, we'll go right there. That's a great example. Vessels that are participating in illegal activity, perhaps are trying to smuggle drugs or humans or perform illegal fishing. They've gone dark. They've turned off their signals that would be normally identifiable by the Coast Guard or by law enforcement. We're still able to detect those vessels and track them and provide intelligence services to the law enforcement officials to do the interdiction and stop that bad behavior.
I know that your company is already supplying data to the government from 3 other satellites. Tell us what you're learning from that endeavor.
Well, those were our quote-unquote Pathfinder satellites, our proof of concept. And they've done phenomenally over the past over 2 years that they've been on orbit. They've teed up a lot of business for us, and now we're going to execute against that business with the commercial satellites. This next cluster that was just launched represents one of 6 commercial clusters that will be launched in the next 15 months.
Yeah, tell us about the future launches that you're planning, because I know you have secured the funding to do it.
That's correct. We've raised well over $100 million as a Northern Virginia company that provides us with a lot of capital to hire great people here in the Northern Virginia area. And it's also provided us with the ability to build 6 additional clusters beyond cluster number 2 that was just launched. Those all will be launched over the course of 2021 and early 2022.
Excellent. So how does what we're doing here in the U.S. concerning intelligence gathering in space compare to what we're seeing in other countries?
Excellent question. As you well are aware, we not only focus on U.S. defense and intelligence and commercial applications, but also international customers and our allies all over the globe. And largely, we're able to provide certain functionality for those customers that they really appreciate. That's aligned with the services that we can offer to our U.S. government customers. Ultimately, what's really powerful about what we provide is that as a commercial company, all of our data is unclassified and can be shared with coalition partners freely.
That's good to know. So what are the immediate next steps for this latest mission?
So they're on their way. They've just separated from the rocket about an hour ago. The satellites will ultimately arrive at their eventual orbit, and then we'll engage in a series of several weeks of commissioning and testing to make sure all the functionality of the 3 satellites is appropriate, and then we'll turn them on and be ready for business.
All right, John Serafini with HawkEye 360. We thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Kelly. Nice to see you.
You too.